What is up, guys? It is Double T, and welcome to brand new Subway Part 3. So, we are here in brand new Subway Part 3. Sorry that it took really long to come out, but we here. I decided to not make this all live stream. We're just gonna make this a regular video. So, let's just start with the one train. And we'll go like from the A division to the B division. The one train has not changed at all. It's one of the only lines that is not changed. It still runs from Van Cortlandt Park, 242nd Street to South Ferry, just like it does in real life. The two train still runs to Wakefield, 241st Street, but its southern terminal has changed. The southern terminal is now Manhattan Beach with the 3 train. The Nostrand Avenue line has been extended from Flatbush Avenue, Brooklyn College, because that terminal sucks. Flatbush Avenue, Brooklyn College is not a good terminal, and I said that in the first part. But in the first part, I had the 3. Speaking of the 3, let's move on to the 3 train. I had the 3 branching off from the 2 at Flatbush Avenue and running to Kings Plaza, but I replaced that with a shuttle because that would kind of be an awkward branch. Kind of be a little weird. So now there's a shuttle that connects Kings Plaza to 7th Avenue services. It's not a 1-seat ride, but it is something. The 3 runs from Manhattan Beach, and Harlem 148th Street is no longer its northern terminal. Its new northern terminal is Eastchester, Dyer Avenue. Yes, we have de-interlined the entire IRT. We de-interlined Brooklyn, and now we've de-interlined the IRT in the Bronx. So the 4 train still also runs its semi-current route. Actually, no. We have made a new Woodlawn station. Because this station right here, this was the original Woodlawn, but this station was actually nowhere near Woodlawn. Woodlawn is all the way up here. So I extended it to 233rd Street, and that station has the Woodlawn designation. Because this is a lot closer to Woodlawn than the original station. And I renamed the original station Bainbridge Avenue because that's where the station is actually located. And still runs on Lexington Avenue. And then in Brooklyn, it actually becomes a local after Franklin Avenue and stops at Nostrand and Kingston. Oops. And then it goes on the New Lots line to Gateway Center. New Lots Avenue has been the New Lots line has been extended 3 stops to Gateway Center. And I should also mention the Eastern Parkway Shuttle, which connects Crown Heights Utica Avenue to Broadway Junction. This is here so that Brooklyn IRT riders have an easier way to get to JFK Airport. They don't really have to get out of the system and take a bus. They could just use it by taking trains. All they have to do, if they're coming from Utica, Nostrand, or New Lots, actually no, just Nostrand and New Lots, they can go to Crown Heights Utica Avenue, and there's a shuttle that continues on Eastern Parkway and connects to Broadway Junction so that they can take the E train to the airport. The 5 train still runs on Lexington Avenue, of course, but the 5 train has a new northern terminus. The 5 now goes on Metro North's Harlem line. This is the Third Avenue replacement project. So it runs up the Metro North Harlem line, and it goes all the way to Wakefield. Now the stop is just called Wakefield, to not be confused with Wakefield 241st Street on the 2. That's just to avoid confusion. And the Wakefield stop will be at the Wakefield Metro North station on the Harlem line. The 6 train, actually no, hold on. How did I miss this? We're not done with the 5 yet. Yes. Utica Avenue. Of course. How could I forget Utica Avenue? Like, this absolutely needs to be built. It should have been built like a long time ago, but MTA never actually built it. Now, yeah, man, and it runs to Kings Plaza. Now we're on to the 6. The 6, in its northern terminus, the north, has been extended all the way to Co-op City. And there was actually 3 Co-op City stations, technically. There's a Co-op City South station, which is actually no, there's 4 Co-op City stations. There's a Co-op City South station, which connects to the proposed Penn Access line, which will become a part of the New Haven line. It is under construction, but we don't know when it will be complete. Then Bay Plaza for the Bay Plaza Shopping Center, and then Bartow Avenue for a transfer to the D train, and finally Co-op City North. The 7 train still technically has its semi-current route, still runs from Hudson Yards to Main Street, but it is extended past Main Street to Little Neck Parkway via Northern Boulevard. So you can see there's the 7, I mean. And it connects with the BQX, which we'll talk about later, at Francis Lewis Boulevard. And it connects with the M train at 156th Street and 160th, but we'll get to that a little later. Now, you might notice that from the first 2 parts that this merge looks a little bit different. Again, we'll get to that later. The 8 train. The 8 train, it's kind of just a branch of the 6 train. It's like a branch of the 6 line. And it runs actually via the T train line, the T line, after Hunts Point. And it goes to the neighborhood of Country Club to Middletown Road in Country Club. The 9 should be pretty simple. It just runs from, actually no, hold on. That's not all we have about the 8 train. There is a new City Hall, there was a new terminus for the 6 and 8 trains at the City Hall lower level. I don't know how possible this is. If we could make 6 and 8 trains go to the lower level of City Hall, I don't know how hard that would be, but I think it should happen because the 6 train's current terminus, which is Brooklyn Bridge City Hall, is limiting capacity on the 6 train because the 6 train still has a loop. And look what happened to South Ferry. I mean, the South Ferry loop is still there, but the original station is not in use anymore. The 9 train goes to Harlem 148th and replaced the 3. And 135th and 125th are the same. 125th has transferred to 99 Cuba. We'll get to that later. The stops between 96 and 125th have turned into local stations. So only the 9 stops there. 116th, 110th, and 103rd. 103rd is not actually a stop on this section, so I added that. It's a local station because it only... I cannot speak. It's a local station because only the A and C stop there. It's already a local station on Central Park West, so why don't we make it a local station for this? And it runs the South Ferry with the 1, and it's a local because it has nothing else to do with it. It can only be local. The 10 train is a designation for the Cross Bronx subway. It runs from Co-op City North with the 6 to Inwood 207th Street for a transfer to the B, and it stops at 207th Street for a transfer to the 1 Cedric Avenue, and there's actually a stop missing. There is actually a missing stop. Hold on. It doesn't look like it, but it's supposed to stop here, University Avenue. That is not how you spell university. That is not how you spell university either. What the hell? I cannot spell. Yeah, University Avenue, Jerome Avenue for a transfer to the 4. Grand Concourse for a transfer to the D and C trains. This is the Webster Avenue station for a transfer to the 5, Z, and P trains. We'll get to those later. We already did the 5, but we'll get to these 2 later. Crotona Avenue, Southern Boulevard. White Plains Road for a transfer to the 2. Williamsbridge Road for a transfer to the 3. Eastchester Road, Pelham Gardens, Stillwell Avenue, Gun Hill Road, and then Bay Plaza, Bartow Avenue, and Co-op City North. The 11 train is basically the 7 train, but it runs to College Point. Now, I talked about this merge earlier. This merge was not like this originally. It branched off at 156, but I changed it so it branches off at 150th because it looks a little better. And it stops at 32nd Avenue, 20th Avenue, and there was a, there's supposed to be a transfer from here to EQX, but yeah, you can see this doesn't really look that cool. 17th Avenue, 14th Avenue, and then it turns onto 11th Avenue and stops at 154th Street, 12th Avenue, 147th Street, Malwood Drive, 138th Street, 127th Street, and finally College Point Boulevard. Now, you guys might be asking, there's a transit desert right here. Well, I couldn't really find a way to get transit desert at, I think this is the Linden Hill area. So that route might have to be handled by just buses. The 12 train is the last IRONS, A Division 9. And the 12 train is actually over here in Staten Island. This is the destination for the Victory Boulevard subway. So it starts at St. George for a connection to the Quad Borough Express, and the Staten Island Railway, which we'll get to those later. Castleton Avenue for a transfer to the T. Victory Boulevard, Forest Avenue for a transfer to the T as well. Clove Road, Manor Road, Bradley Avenue. Is there a stop missing? There is. There's supposed to be a stop right here at, what is this? Slauson Avenue. Yeah, this is supposed to be a station. Like, whoa, not that. This is supposed to be a station, Slauson Avenue. Where was I? Yeah, Clove Road, Manor Road, or Bradley Avenue, Woolley Avenue, Christopher Lane, Bolt's Head for a transfer to the U train. We'll get to that later. Arlene Street, Signs Road, Travis Avenue, and finally Meredith Avenue. So that is it for the numbered lines. Now let's go to the letter lines. The A train, let's start the A train. The A train will run between 168th Street and Church Avenue. Now, we have changed the Central Park West line a lot. Both the Central Park West and 8th Avenue lines have changed a lot. So now the A and C trains are local on the Central Park West line, and the B and D are express. The A goes to 168th Street now, and it now serves 155th and 163rd. 163rd now is a transfer to the L train, but we'll get to that later. 125th now is a transfer to the N and Q. And 103rd now is a transfer to the 9. And 59th Street Columbus Circle is now an express station for the 7th Avenue line, because it was already an express station for 8th Avenue. So why not make it an express station for 7th Avenue? And the 8th Avenue line itself has changed a lot. The C train is now express. The A and C are now express, and the E and the brought back K train are local. And after World Trade Center, Chambers Street, the A and C do not run on Fulton anymore. They don't run on Fulton anymore. Instead, there will be a new connection to the Broadway lane. Now, this is the R, basically the R. The R, it's not on this map, but the R kind of turns onto this street. Like, turns like that, and that's where the stations are. It's a very sharp curve, though. So this should be a lot straighter. This is we're calling this, well, this project was called the Montauk Connection, but that wasn't really an official name. So yeah, Cortlandt Street, Rector Street. These were originally part of the R train, but the R has been shifted to a straighter alignment. And Whitehall Street for a transfer to the R and W itself. And then Court Street. This is the last place you can transfer until the A and C goes onto Culver. Now, the A and C will be on the local tracks of Culver, so that Culver doesn't complain about losing service. They actually get increased service. They get double service to Manhattan. And 4th Avenue, 9th Street, there is a transfer to the T train. At 7th Avenue, that is supposed to be an express station. I don't know why that's not an express station. Ooh. almost deleted it. Yeah, 7th Avenue is supposed to be an express station. There you go. So yeah, the A and C are local, and they end at Church Avenue. I should mention this shuttle. This shuttle is the Culver shuttle. Now, the Culver shuttle actually used to go to Ditmas Avenue, but now I made it for better use. It goes to Church Avenue instead of Ditmas Avenue. So, the A and C are local on Culver. The F and G with this can now run express all the time, so that there's express service to Manhattan, and the G kind of has to run express so that we create a balance in service, since there's already 2 local services. The G kind of has to run express here. So yeah, that's that. Let's move on to the B train. The B train took over the A's route. It now terminates at Inwood 207th Street, and this is so we can guarantee Inwood and Concourse lines express service. So the B runs express in Central Park West. The 6th Avenue line is not changed. There was nothing big changed on 6th Avenue. But here's the big change: de-interlining DeKalb Junction. So the B train now runs on the C Beach line. The D still runs on West End, and the B runs in Sea Beach. And the B ends at Coney Island, Stillwell Avenue. The C train runs between Church Avenue and Van Cortlandt Avenue in the Bronx. Yeah, this extension opened, and the C serves Van Cortlandt Avenue and 204th Street. And the C is local on Central Park West and express on the 8th Avenue. The D train, for the most part, has not changed, except it has been extended to Co-op City via Gun Hill Road, and it transfers with the 2, 3, 6, 10, and 5 trains, and the P train. We'll get to that later. Like I said, the D, and basically that is the only change for the D. Like the extension from Northern 205th Street, but past this station, nothing else has really changed. The D was already express on Central Park West, so it still runs its current route, basically its semi-current route. The E train has been changed drastically. The E train is local on 8th Avenue. It still runs express on Queens Boulevard. Now we're getting into Queens Boulevard. It still runs express. Woodhaven Boulevard is now an express station, and the E train now runs on Hillside Avenue, replacing the F. Hillside Avenue has been extended to Springfield Boulevard, and then 2 branches with the E going to Floral Park. And then for the south, the E train now runs in Fulton. And this is where the A used to merge to go on to the Rockways, but that merge has been shifted to here. So that's that change. And the E is taking over the Rockaway Park branch. So the shuttle has been discontinued, and Rockaway Park branch has been extended with stations at Beach 124th Street, Beach 130th Street, Beach 142nd Street, and Beach 147th Street, Jacob Reese. This was a plan in the IND second system. That's with most of these plans. A lot of these plans are the second system plans. Crossway Boulevard, like that station. The F train has also drastically changed. It still runs local, but technically, I guess past like 21st Street, Queensbridge, it runs its semi-current route, but the F no longer runs on Queens Boulevard. It runs with the M. The M has also been swapped to 63rd Street. The M and F, the F branches from the M, and the F basically goes its own way. And there's a transfer at 61st Street Woodside and a transfer at 51st Avenue for the QBX. And then it merges back. It actually does go into Queens Boulevard for a second. It merges in at Forest Hills. And it's actually local, so it actually stops at 75th Avenue and Kew Gardens Union Track. And then it turns on to Union Turnpike, connects with the BQX at Francis Lewis Boulevard, and terminates at Lakeville Road. The G train has been re-extended back to Forest Hills and has also been extended to Coney Island. There have been talks to extend the G to Coney Island. I think the G should get more recognition because it gives Coney Island riders a faster one-seat ride to Queens. And especially with how much Queens Boulevard is transformed, I think the G should come back to Queens Boulevard. The H train. This is the first 2nd Avenue subway train. The H train, this is the 2nd Avenue subway now. It runs from Hanover Square to Far Rockaway via 2nd Avenue and Queens Boulevard. So, after 54th Street, which this is actually the main local and express part of 2nd Avenue, and then after 54th Street, the H splits off, and there is a new tunnel under the East River, the 57th Street tunnel, which there is a transfer to the W. We'll get to that later. The H runs with the V train also, and it is a local train, same with the V, and then the G comes up, so the H, V, and G run local, and the G, like I said, is necessary because 67th Avenue is going to lose the service. So the G is going to cover up for that service. Because the H, after 63rd Drive, it's going to split off. And this is the well-known Queenslink. Yes, this is also a necessity. This line also should have been built a long time ago. And it connects with the X train at Metropolitan Avenue. It connects with the Lower Montauk Light Rail at Union Turnpike, and it connects with the Y train at Myrtle Avenue, connects with the J train at Brooklyn Manor. It connects with the K train, or it's not a direct transfer, it's a passageway transfer. Connects with the R train at Aqueduct Racetrack, and finally it merges with the E train to go to Far Rockaway. Far Rockaway has not been extended. Let's skip over to the J train. Actually, no, let's go to the I train because there is a I train. The I train is kind of this is a lower Montauk light rail, and the I train kind of branches off at Andrews Avenue, connects with the X at Metropolitan Avenue, and it ends at Montrose Avenue for a transfer to the L. It also connects with the M, O, and the QBX at Middle. The station just simply called Middle Village. Connects with the H, and then this is another mega station right here in Richmond Hill. Connects with the J, Y, and O. Jamaica Van Wyck for a connection to the K, X, and O trains, and then it actually will become an L elevated to Merrick Boulevard, 168th Street. Now let's switch to the J train. The J train is one of those lines that's not really interlined or anything. Actually, well, besides here. The J in, I guess it's Western Terminus, the J is actually being cut back to Chambers Street it's called Burkett Bridge on this map, but the J train station is called Chambers Street. So it has been cut back, but it has been extended on its eastern end. It's extended via Archer Avenue and 93rd Avenue. Actually, no, it's just via Archer Avenue, and then it goes via the LIRR main line, and then it turns onto Hempstead Avenue, and it ends at 224th Street, UBS Arena, and it connects with the BQX. The K train is also like a complementary route to the E train. The K train also goes express in Queens Boulevard, but after Briarwood, it splits off to go onto the Archer Avenue line, and the K has taken over the Atlantic branch from LIRR, and it ends at Laurelton, 225th Street. And so that means that Far Rockaway and Long Beach LIRR trains now have to go via, I don't know what this branch is called, or this is technically the Montauk branch. Technically, I call it the St. Albans branch. This is where West Hempstead line trains go. So Far Rockaway and LIRR and Long Beach trains would have to go via this line, since the Atlantic branch would be taken over. And in its southern end, the K ends at Liberty Van Wyck for a transfer to the JFK Air train. It is express in Fulton, and it is local on 8th Avenue. The L train runs its semi-current route in the north. The L train, this is one of the biggest extensions. The L train is at a major extension via 10th Avenue, aka Amsterdam Avenue, to 187th Street. And in its southern end, it is extended back to Canarsie Pier. And this is and why it's extended back to Canarsie Pier, this is not on this map, but there are going to be ferry services from Canarsie Pier to these areas right here. So there will be a service to Roxbury and a service to Breezy Point. And there will also be a ferry from Manhattan Beach. The M train. That's the next one, the M train. M train runs its semi-current route at least in the south. It still runs local with the F on 6th Avenue. It does, but instead it runs on the 63rd Street line, and it branches off from the F, and the M goes on Northern Boulevard, and there's a transfer at 74th Street for the QBX. It transferred to at 82nd Street for the LGA air train, the LaGuardia air train. And then the W merges with it, and then the M merges with the 7 at 156 and 160th, and then it splits, the 7 splits off, and the M goes on Crocron Avenue, I think what it's called. And then after 35th Avenue, it turns up, and now it runs under Bell Boulevard and ends at Fort Taunton. And it also connects with the QX. The N train now runs with the Q. The N train is now running on Upper 2nd Avenue. This is the current 2nd Avenue. It runs from 137th Street, City College, via the 125th Street Crosstown. It still runs express on Broadway, but instead, the N now runs on the Brighton line. And Avenue H is now an express station, so it can transfer with the TBX, or the QBX, sorry. And the N ends at Brighton Beach. The O train is basically the other Lower Montauk Light Rail, except it ends at the Long Island City Metro, or the Long Island City LIRR station. The P train, now the P train also is one of those lines that isn't really interlined with anything. The P train, it's just a line, a relief line for 2nd Avenue, because 2nd Avenue is going to be really busy. This is the 1st Avenue line. And the P train, it's basically a East Side shuttle until it goes up in the Bronx. And then it kind of becomes a release line for the 5. And it runs directly under Webster Avenue. And it ends at 233rd Street. It kind of makes the same stations as the 5 does up here. The R train has been extended. The R train now runs on Astoria. As you can see, the N and W have been booted off Astoria. And the R now runs to LaGuardia Airport. You saw this coming. LaGuardia needs better transit connections, and it stops at all 3 terminals. It is still a local service. And then the R runs on the straight alignment, and then and instead of going onto Culver at Court Street, it actually continues straight and goes into Fulton, and it is a local. These are the local. The R is one of the locals, so it stops at the local stations. And then after Euclid, the R continues on. And this is actually the extended Pitkin plan, which is another IND 2nd system plan. It will, at Cross Bay Boulevard, is where it was split from the E. Connects to the H at Aqueduct Racetrack. And then it goes via Linden Boulevard, and wait a minute. How did I miss this? There is supposed to be a station at Lefferts Boulevard. How did I miss that? Yeah, and Hawtree Creek Road can honestly be eliminated. Lefferts Boulevard is a better placement for a station. It'll connect with the JFK AirTrain at Linden Van Wyck. It'll connect with the K train at Brewer Boulevard, Gower Brewer Boulevard. It'll connect with the BQX. And this is actually one of the only lines that actually goes into Nassau County. The other one being the F train, but it like barely scrapes past the border. This is the only one that actually goes kind of past the border to Elmont Road. So yeah. Now, the next letter is S, which that's basically the shuttles. We already talked about Kings Plaza, Culver Shuttle, and Eastern Parkway Shuttle. The Franklin Avenue Shuttle. The 42nd Street Shuttle has turned into the Zero train. So that's the new designation for that. The Franklin Avenue Shuttle has been extended to Bedford Nostrand Avenues on the G train. And the Rockaway Park Shuttle is no more. The T train, here we go. The T train, the almighty T train. This is one of the major lines, not just because it's a Second Avenue line. The T train runs all the way from Throgs Neck in the Bronx to South Avenue in Staten Island. So let's start at the north. It starts in Throgs Neck because Throgs Neck desperately needs a subway. And then after Tremont, it merges with the 8. And then the 8 splits off. And then the T merges with the Z at 163rd Street. Connects with the 2-3 connects with the 2-3 trains, the QBX and the P train. Then it stops at 3rd Avenue, 138th Street to connect with the 6 and 8. And then it's basically after 125th Street, which connects with the 125th Street station on the Lexington Avenue line, which I have not done that yet. There you go. It basically becomes a super express. So it basically skips all of these stations. It runs under 3rd Avenue, and it doesn't stop again until Lexington 63rd to transfer with the FM, N, Q, Z, and X trains. Then it's an express after 54th. 42nd Street is also an express station. And then it goes straight to 14th Street. And then it serves Alphabet City. It'll stop at 1st Avenue to transfer to the P train. Then it serves Alphabet City. Does a transfer with the X train at Houston Street. And then it merges with the Nassau Street line. And this is why the J has been cut back to Chambers Street. Because the T and Z have taken over that portion. And they go into Brooklyn via the original Montague Street tunnel. And they connect at Borough Hall, stop at Borough Hall, J Street Metrotech, DeKalb Avenue, and then Atlantic Avenue Barclays Center. And then they are the 4th Avenue local, the T and Z, the 4th Avenue local. And then the T branches off. It stops at the Brooklyn Army Terminal for the QBX, and then both it and the T go into Staten Island. And then the T basically runs on Victory Boulevard for a second, and then it runs under Forest Avenue. And it ends at South Avenue. And it connects with the U train at Richmond Avenue. Speaking of the U train, that's the next letter. The U train is the designation for the Richmond Avenue line. And this is the only line that goes into New Jersey. So it's basically the only north-south subway line in Staten Island, and it runs from Highland Boulevard to Bergen Point in New Jersey. And this will be in conjunction with a Hudson Boulevard Light Rail extension to this station. But that's not on this map, but this is where the Hudson Bergen Light Rail is. Its last stop is currently 8th Street, which is around here, but it'll be extended, and it'll be a one-stop extension to Bergen Point. The V train also starts at Hanover Square, but instead of going on Queenslink, it's basically the H, but it runs on Hillside Avenue. And after Springfield Boulevard, it continues on Hillside Avenue, and it ends at Glen Oaks, 268th Street. The W train is still Broadway local. Again, it now runs on Fulton. And it ends at this little one station. This is a yard station, Linden Plaza. This station is because this area of Brooklyn is still kind of underserved. Like, the nearest station would have been the 4, but this is basically a relief station. So yeah, and then it actually, after Lexington and 59th, it actually merges with the H and Z to run in the 57th Street tunnel, and then it will split off, and then connect with the F and M, and then run on 21st Street instead of 31st Street. It'll then merge with the R at Steinway, and then the R goes to LaGuardia, the W goes down, and then it goes on Astoria Boulevard. It kind of interlines with the LGA Air train, and then it interlines with the M train, and then it connects with the 7 and 11 at Flushing Main Street, and then it runs under Casino Boulevard, and then under Horse Harding Expressway to Little Neck Parkway. The Y train runs from Richmond Hill to Red Hook. This is one of the shortest lines in the system. This is the Myrtle Avenue line. Yeah, there's nothing really to say about it. Oh, wait a minute. I went straight from W to Y. Well, that was the Y train. I went out of order. Sorry, guys. The X train is the destination of the Metropolitan Avenue line. And then it actually goes into Manhattan. It runs under Houston Street, and then it runs under 3rd Avenue. And then its last stop is Lexington Avenue, 63rd Street. And then finally, the last of the main trains, the Z train. The Z train, the current iteration, which is the skip stop version, that has been eliminated. The Z is now been moved to 2nd Avenue. And the Z runs from Bay Ridge 95th Street to Fordham Road. And this portion, it runs directly under 3rd Avenue. Now that's it for the trains. For the mainline trains, let's go into other services. So Staten Island Railway is still the same. That's still the same. Actually, wait, does it still have the Nassau and Atlantic stations? It totally does. Look at that. Nassau and Atlantic are no more. And those stations were kind of pointless anyway. What isn't pointless is a station on Upper Kill Road. This is the infill station that replaced Nassau and Atlantic. And this is a much better station than those two stations. The QBX. Oh, y'all been waiting. I know y'all have been waiting for this one. The QBX. It runs all the way from Port Ivory to Yankee Stadium. Now, this was originally going to be the Triborough Express, but now it's now the Quadborough Express. This portion from Jackson Heights, Roosevelt Avenue to Pukenaga Terminal, this is the proposed line. This is the Interborough Express. The extension to Yankee Stadium makes it the Triborough Express. Yes. And this portion is kind of complex because after 138th and 149th, it actually runs under 149th Street. It runs under 149th Street. It connects with the 6 and 8. Then it connects with the 2 and 3 at 149th Street. Then it connects with the 5. Actually goes up and then now it's running under 161st Street. Stops at 161st Street Grand Concourse, and finally Yankee Stadium. That makes it the Triborough Express. But the quad part comes in the Staten Island. And this is basically a reactivation of the North Shore line. It stops at New Brighton, West New Brighton, Broadway, Port Richmond, Mariners Harbor, Arlington, and Port Ivory. The BQX is the Bronx Queens Express. This is the only subway line that connects Bronx and Queens. It is also the... What the heck was that? It's also the second cross Bronx line, but this one doesn't actually go to Manhattan. This one just connects Bronx and Queens. So yeah, it runs under Tremont Avenue, and basically in the Bronx, it basically does the same thing as the 10 train. And then it kind of interlines with the T train in Throgs Neck. But then that Harding Avenue is where the T ends. The BQX continues, and now it runs under Francis Lewis Boulevard, which Francis Lewis Boulevard is a long street, so it literally connects with every single east-west line in Queens. And then after in Cambria Heights, it runs under Springfield Boulevard to connect with the K train. And it ends at 147th Avenue. While the northern terminus is Sedgwick Avenue. The JFK Air train isn't exactly changed. The only thing that's changed is there's now infill stations, and it has extended to Jamaica Center. The LGA Air train is a completely new line. The LGA Air train starts at Jackson Heights, Roosevelt Avenue, and then it runs under 82nd Street. Actually, it's elevated. Well, actually, technically, it's a subway from Jackson Heights to here, and then it turns into an elevated to go to LaGuardia Airport. And this will replace the Q70 bus. And with that, that is the brand new. That is my brand new subway. Thank you guys for watching this series. This is probably one of the last, if not the last video I do this summer while I get back to doing my final year in high school. So yeah, that is gonna be it. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.